Hey there, YouTubers, right? So this video, we're going to try and address whether you should buy a graphics card now or put it off for a couple of months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now that should be affecting your decision. All right, so we'll talk about those things shortly. Now, in case you haven't been paying attention, graphics card prices have dropped significantly. They are still more than double what their MSRP is for most of them. What does that tell you? Well, we got a long way to go, folks, before it's going to break even. Now, countering that, of course, is this ungodly inflation that we have due to all kinds of reasons. A lot of it is the fuel related, right? Gas is way up. The price of a barrel of oil is way up. And the good old US doesn't really have a good plan right now for either increasing production in the US or finding another place to buy oil. So that is not going to help, right? So your transportation costs are going to go up. You would expect Amazon and everybody else will raise their prices somewhat at some point to counter that. Whether they have or not, and I haven't noticed it because the prices of the graphics cards have dropped, is another story. All right, what else is going on? Obviously, we've got this war in Ukraine, okay? It is not a special operations by the Russians. It is definitely a war. Now, what is happening with that war that is affecting us? Well, that's another reason that fuel went up, right? U.S. buys fuel from Russia, amongst quite a few other places, and the fear that maybe we would run out of oil or whatever helps to drive those prices up. Now, not so much the whole Russia thing is the problem with the graphics cards. The issue is whether China will support Russia in this war, folks. You would expect that will happen. Now, whether they will make it known like the U.S. says in the news, pretty much everything they've done to support Ukraine, weapons, money, humanitarian aid. If China were to support Russia, we would probably have to see that through satellite footage, right? Not something they're probably going to announce. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So, what does that mean to us? Well, we're quite a few of these graphics cards made. So that is an issue, right? The U.S. would definitely take some measures against the Chinese, and that could affect the supply of graphics cards, folks. Now, what is another thing that could happen, honestly, quite soon? China could invade Taiwan. This is very evident now that Russia has invaded Ukraine. China has not said anything negative about it. And, as well as I do, that they're in cahoots in the United Nations and anywhere else. So, what that tells me, folks, is at some point it's going to be really hard to get a new graphics card. You may be looking at, what's on the shelf skyrockets in price. Why will that happen? Because capitalism, people will take advantage of the fact that, we can't order any more of these. So the fact we have them, we will jack the price up. Now, when is that going to happen? I don't know. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe we'll get lucky. Ukraine will end up beating Russia. Right now, it's somewhat of a stalemate over there, even though at the end of the day, Russia lost some troops. Ukraine has lost a lot of citizens and a lot of its facilities, structures, military bases, etc. So who knows how that will work out in the end. Now, For now, folks, I honestly would say you have maybe a couple of months potentially to buy a graphics card before they go back up significantly. That's my thoughts. I could be wrong, but hey, that is, something that you have to watch out for as far as these graphics cards go. If you look back, when you were thinking, oh, I'm not going to buy now, these prices are too high. And holy cow, they just got more and more expensive, right? I wish I would have bought a lot more graphics cards at cheaper prices than waiting on buying them. So here was a RTX 3070 Ti. These were, usually well over $1,000. You see 877. That's pretty good. RTX 3060s, quite a few of these were, over $800. I did get one for I think $699 at one time, and there may be one in here actually that is in the 600s. I have seen an RX 6700 XT on here in the 600s. I've got my eye on one of these. I just recently got rid of the RX 6500 XT. Personally, thought that was a garbage graphics card, and I would argue with anybody that it's just not worth the money. All right, $250 for it, yuck. The RTX 3050, if you can get it for $250, that's a great deal. Buying it for $400, not such a great deal. Now, some of these graphics cards are obviously still rather expensive. Are they worth the money? That's questionable. I would not spend this much money on this graphics card unless you needed one that did not have you had a situation where you could not supply power to a 6-pin or 8-pin graphics card, okay? So then you've got, let's see, the 1050 Ti. I had one of these. I actually bought it and sold it for more than I paid for it. Maybe one day I'll get another 1050 Ti. It's not really popular enough to keep on the channel, so that cash, in my opinion, was better put towards other things. Of course, I have a GTX 1660 Super. I believe it's this exact same model. No, it's not. It's the other one. But regardless, these are still somewhat popular for videos of video gaming. Now, one thing I am eyeing on here is the RTX 2060 12 gig, just to get one for the channel. I don't expect a whole lot out of it. Some of the prices of decent cards, to be honest with you, this is a decent graphics card. Obviously, very strong 1080p, some 1440p. Unlike the RX 6500, which did not run Epic very well. You couldn't even run Cyberpunk low with it at 1080p. So, not a fan of it. Decent price here on this 3070 Ti. I would get this over the Zotac any day of the week. So some of the 3090s have dropped down into the lower 2000s, maybe not on Amazon, but you will be able to find them if you look hard enough. So here's an RTX 2060 12 gig 487. That is, compared to this, folks, why would anybody buy Zotac? This one, I don't see super compact, whatever. Even though I have the 1660 Ti version of this, and I may have spent that much, but that's when graphics cards were more expensive, right? So I am buying this for the channel just to have it. It's not really very useful for mining. Only makes like $1 something a day, I think. So what else, folks? Another 3060. And, I could compare the 2060 6 gig to the 2060 12 gig, as well as the 3060 12 gig to it, just to see how they do. Maybe even throw in the 3050 as well. So I'm really trying to find a really good deal. I mean, this guy here, 429, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I'd like to get a 6900 XT. I don't think that's dropped down enough to make it worth it. Now, if I could sell a couple of cards off, maybe I would do that. I do have multiple 6600s and multiple 6600 XTs. So that, you know, in itself tells me that, hey, dumping one of each might not be such a bad thing. As well as I have 33060s. Getting rid of one of those might be a good idea, or two of those, and buying something else for the channel. So I would really like to see a 6700 get down to about 600, exactly 600. Not just in the 600s, but exactly 600. RTX 2070 Super renewed. This is probably a gaming graphics card, I would imagine. Not a gaming graphics card, but a mining that somehow somebody cleaned up and is dumping them on here. 1070 renewed. So you're going to start seeing a lot more older graphics cards that say they're renewed. Basically, they are mining cards. So you got to be careful of that aspect on here, folks. 432 for this 1660. No, thank you. 3060 Ti, 744. Realistically, this should probably, these need to start dropping. As far as mining goes, they're not so hot. Now here is a decent price. I'm not a big fan of XFX, but that is a pretty good price there. 1060. So this is also a mining graphics card, most likely. These are about worthless for mining right now. 3080 Ti. I have this one. I did not spend that much though. I got it much cheaper when it was in that category where the prices weren't too bad. What else, folks? 3070 Ti. So, I mean, as you can see, prices drop. This one, whatever, right? Don't think so. So I've had a RX 580 4 gig. I dumped that. I was going to get an 8 gig. I ended up getting the RX 5500 XT, which I look back now, I overspent because they are dropping quite a bit. Matter of fact, I just closed eBay. If we go and look at an RX 580, oh, we want the 8 gig, sorry. So, I mean, you can see right there, 275 plus shipping. With tax, this will be over 300. That's pretty good. This guy's 268. So these are really starting to drop. These were all over 400. Now the thing is, right now these are not making that much money. Hence why the price has dropped considerably, right? 249. This is parts only. Yeah, you don't want that one. Parts only, pre-owned. Power color, read description. Probably got a problem. MSI. So this is like the one I had, but it's 8 gig. And I have an RX 590 like this. So you're still good gamers, right? But as far as them being good for mining, not necessarily. Let's look at the 5500 XT. I can find it. And the price of these is higher, considerably higher, right? So I don't know if I'd spend this money. You saw you get the 580 version is much cheaper. Now, you saw that, right? But then you can go get an RX 5600 XT, which is a big difference in performance. These, I believe, are better for mining than the 6600 and the 6600 XT, if I remember correctly. So questionable whether it's worth buying these, but you know, actually, let's look that up, folks. Why not figure out exactly what's doing what? All right, so let's go start at the bottom. If you had a 580 and you're not running solar, you're wasting your money. 960, same deal. 550, breaking even. 460, making 2 cents. 970, 1050. 6500 XT. Yeah. I don't even think mine made 23 cents before freaking electric. So that's garbage. 570. I think I still have a 570 mining right now. I need to shut it down. I've shut down my 1060. I got rid of the 5500 XT while I could get a good price for it. I have a 470. I have a 480 somewhere in here. We'll see their price. So I got rid of these two at a premium. I do have the 3050. See how little that makes. We do have a 1066 gig. I'll probably keep that one forever. I used to have the 1070. Here is the 5500 XT. So you can see it significantly dropped from where it was. The 570. Yeah, we don't have one of those. I found somebody to take the 1660 off my hands. 480, 490. Okay. So 6600, 8 gig makes more than all these, right? Not a whole lot more, though. So if you could buy one of these cheap compared to this, so we saw 429, I think was the cheapest, but you can pick one of these up for 265. That might be worth it. At least for me, with the gaming channel, I have a 1660 Ti. I have the 1660 Super. So we have a ton of cards that just are not cranking right now. Here's a 2066 gig. And then the 6600 XT, which I think you can get one for $499. And of course, it's hard to, this stuff here is kind of bogus. But 120 into that, it's going to take a while. You are talking, 400 some days for your ROI. 2060 12 gig, same deal. 5600 XT. Okay, so we see $1.31 here. $1.31 here. If you get this guy, probably not too bad a price, huh? This is obviously, if the guy's selling a bunch of them, they probably were. Is it dirt? That thing's dirty. He probably mined on these. So you'll get your money back sooner on this thing if it doesn't die. I don't know if I'd buy the ASRock one. This doesn't even have a. That's MSI. Wow, that thing's dirty. Oh my gosh. That's scary how dirty that is. And the power color. I think I'd stay away from that. But yeah, so that's something to think about, the 5600 XT, if you're out shopping. Because they have dropped significantly, right? Now, is it even worth mining at the moment? That is a good question. $1080, I have one of these. So, it's like all my cards are only good for gaming at the moment. $1 a day is nothing. RX 64, Vega 64, $1.37. That thing used to make decent money. 2070 Super. That thing's still doing good. 2060 Super, not too bad. 3060 Ti LHR. 3070 LHR. Where is, I just saw the 6700. $1.68. That makes spending $700 a lot tough. Tougher. So I have an LHR 3060. Or non-LHR, sorry. 2080 Ti. 3060 Ti. I don't have one of those. 3080. Got that. Yeah. 3080 Ti. And then, actually, I think we have this one because it's making good money. 3090s. Yeah, not so hot. 3090 Ti rumor. That's funny. So there you go, folks. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you got something out of it. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.